Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we've got lots of videos coming this week, so make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. It is free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just click on the subscribe button and you'll be notified therefore when the new videos are released. This week we've got some handicap analysis, obviously that's been released today. We've got some reviews of Cheltenham, we've got some Cheltenham thoughts, how they could improve the festival. Lots to get stuck into, so do subscribe to the YouTube channel. As I said, it's free to subscribe, so you might as well. So let's do, we're going to do 2 videos for the Cheltenham review, day 1 and 2 in one, and then 3 and 4 in the other video. And obviously I'm not going to talk about races that I felt there was nothing of interest, like the Champion Hurdle. State Man won it, big deal. Similarly the Mayor's Hurdle, Lossiemouth won it, great, blah blah blah. So I'm only going to talk about those races that actually caught my eye, something in it caught my eye, and we can talk about those. Starting off with this Supreme Novice, which Slade Steele won, outstaying Mystical Power. Mystical Power I think is the proper 2-miler. Slade Steele was a 2.5, and on that ground that it was really soft that day, just set it up for Slade Steele a little bit more. I thought Firefox was very, very good in third, to be honest. I thought he jumped brilliantly and didn't actually get a clear run. Watch the head on. He didn't get a clear run for quite a while. He would have definitely been a lot closer if he'd got a clear run. I think he's very interesting for next season. He's definitely going to go over fences. You watch the way he he hurdled. He jumped them beautifully. Definitely interesting for next season. And I would imagine he's going to be aimed at the Arkle. And having finished second in the Arkle this year with Founder 50, who we're going to talk about in a minute, I'm sure Bective Stud and Gordon Elliott would like to go one better next year. So definitely keep an eye out for Firefox for the Arkle. Let's make a note of that straight away. Jumped, whoops, don't need it all in capitals, jumped well in Supreme Arkle 2025. So we can create the Nagme for that. Even if sometimes they don't run as well throughout the year, they then come back to the Cheltenham Festival and still run massive races. You see that time and time again with horses that look like they've actually disappointed throughout the year. They turn it back up at Cheltenham and they run great races again. Moving on to the 210, which was the Arkle. Obviously, Gaelic Warrior demonstrating that it doesn't matter whether he goes left or right-handed, he can still win. I did kind of suggest that in a video. Somebody said Gaelic Warrior's a stone worse going left-handed. Let's hope he wasn't ill. If you love superstars, let's hope he was a stone worse, because he still walloped these, didn't he? Founder 50 did come past him, but Gaelic Warrior showed that he was simply far too good here. For me, the interesting horses here, I still want to see Authorised Speed when he goes back into a handicap, but my mate Mozzie into a handicap, he doesn't want this, he's not good enough for Grade 1 company, but he is good enough for handicaps, and it'd be interesting to see what his handicap mark is adjusted to. If it's adjusted, I'm recording this video before I've properly looked at the handicap marks, so I don't know whether he has been adjusted. That will come in the handicap analysis video, where I might talk about, or I will talk about, my mate Mozzie. There are a couple of handicaps that interest me at Punchestown and Fairyhouse, both over the 2 mile. I think one of them's a novice handicap as well, so he would get into that. And that would be where I'd be looking at with my mate Mozzie. In terms of the others, I thought it was pretty much the right horses coming to the fore, and the lesser horses that were well beaten. Il Était Temps probably suggesting again he's better at Leopardstown than he is at Cheltenham. Moving on to the Old Teamer, a very impressive win from Chianti Classico. I'm sure he's going to go up well in the handicap, or well up in the handicap, should I say. I thought Meeting of the Waters ran well. I don't know whether it totally screamed he wanted Grand National, to be honest. I thought Kitty's Light did scream he wanted Grand National. If he gets in, he'd be very, very interesting for me. I still really like him. I thought if they'd gone another mile, he would have been much closer. Kitty's Light, I do still like him. The Goffer, I think I was kind of correct in that he doesn't stay the 3 mile, he wants 2.5. Again, he came there travelling well, didn't stay. And finally, Trelawn unfortunately went for us at the second fence. We were on at a much bigger price. I think we were on at 14s, or I'd even highlighted him when he was like 20s. He went off 5-1, shorter price than Chianti Classico, his stablemate. He went off 5-1. Kim Bailey, both before and after the race, was saying he had a great chance, and he fell at the second. interestingly, Harry Cobden had 3 outside rides in the handicaps at the Cheltenham Festival on Trelawn, Liberty Hunter and Theatre Man. I always get Theatre Man and Theatre Guide mixed up. I'd have to check. It's Theatre Man. Trelawn and Theatre Man fell and unseated at the 2nd and 3rd respectively. The other horse, Liberty Hunter, finished 2nd, ran a really good race. I think Harry got 3 very good rides there, and it'd be interesting to see those other 2 that didn't get round, where they go next, and they would be interesting for me. I think we might see Trelawn in that 3-mile handicap at the Aintree. That's where I think we'll see Trelawn. But yeah, and I guess we could say I was right about Stumptown. He did indeed ruin his handicap mark by winning at Cheltenham back in January, and a nothing race, and then ran no sort of race at Cheltenham in the Ultima. Moving on to the 450, the Boodles. Lark in the Morning kind of kept up that record of that Nace race, although he didn't run. He was taken out in the morning. I think if he'd run in that, he'd have probably gone off 5-1 sort of thing, and we kind of overlooked it because he didn't run. I thought Melantino is one that will certainly win races over in the UK, or in the UK. He'll certainly find handicaps to win. Nara, I wouldn't kind of give up with her. In a smaller, slightly lesser race, I think she can still show that she is better than a handicap mark. Of those behind, nothing really caught my eye. Maybe Latin Verse, who came there travelling quite nicely, turning in and ended up pulling up. Went from being right up there to pulling up in a matter of half a furlong or a furlong. Very strange ending to his run. Moving on to the 5:30 at Cheltenham. The 3-mile 5 race or the 3-mile 6 race. Corbett Cross was very impressive here, wasn't he? I think he's going to go up in the handicap. I still think they'll end up in the Irish National with him, similar to what they did with Iron Maximus. And Corbett Cross could certainly win that before returning next season in graded races. That was just very impressive. Of those behind, nothing else caught my eye. Moving on to the Wednesday, Factifile was very good here, wasn't he? Factifile, there was a few very impressive JP horses. Factifile, Corbett's Cross, I know the way you're thinking. All very impressive winners of their respective races. The one to take out here, I think, is Giovinco. Have to keep an eye on his handicap mark. He's probably ran significantly better than that, to be honest. If he'd been in the Ultima, he could have definitely challenged there. Could be something that they end up planning for next year. If they don't find a handicap before that. Let's just make a note of that. Let's put in Ultima 2025, if not won a feature beforehand. He's one of those horses that you can see returning to the festival next season off the back of moderate efforts, and then going on and potentially winning like the Ultima, having appeared to have no form. We'll move on to the 250, the Coral Cup. I had no issues with Langadam winning that, to be honest. It's the handicapper's fault for dropping him all those pounds so quickly, not the trainers. The trainer's running him. Yes, he's potentially running him and deliberately getting him beat. Handicapper drops him. Handicapper's the idiot. The one to take out the race surely is Lucky Place, who ran a really good race for 4th, considering the form of the Nicky Henderson yard. It was atrocious, and yet he travelled really well. Similar type of race, and I can see him going very close. I don't know if there's a novice handicap towards the end of the season, maybe at Sandown, for Lucky Place, once the Henderson yard is back in form. And finally, in this video, the Johnny Henderson Grand Annual. A couple that I want to talk about here. Great win for Unexpected Party. The drop-in trip really suited him. Liberty Hunter, as I've mentioned, Harry Cobden did pick a good ride. The ones to take out the race for me, Saint-Gua, on the basis that the handicapper wasn't kind to him. He was kind to the likes of Unexpected Party and Langadam, the British horses, but not to Saint-Gua. I think he dropped him £1 after being well beaten in multiple races. If he dropped him 3 or 4, he would have gone very close. I'm still interested in Calico when he goes to a race that he can go relatively prominent, and it's not on this soft heavy going that he encountered. There might be a race potentially at Aintree for him. So they are my thoughts for days 1 and 2. Obviously, the handicap analysis will probably give us a little bit more, in that I can then look at the handicap marks as well and find prospective races for them.